SolarWinds MSP Manager streamlines your IT service management business by giving you powerful features to boost efficiency and provide exceptional IT service. It provides a quick and efficient hosted ticketing solution, powerful clear reporting, batch invoice generation featuring integrations with Xero and QuickBooks, customer and knowledge management, a mobile application for reviewing customer information and creating tickets on site, a brandable customer portal that allows users to track their ticket resolutions without contacting you, and deep integrations with our monitoring platforms InCentral and SolarWinds RMM. Let's take a look. Let's get started by looking at the settings options available to us in MSP Manager. And settings really represent the administrative piece of the product. We'll start off with some very high-level settings. So your time zone, your culture, which equates to your currency, tax rate, and the ability to round up your ticket timing to the nearest quarter hour, half hour, etc. You can also include core business hours. So if you work Monday to Friday, 8 to 6, for example, you can set these core business hours, and these will feed in to our SLA management that we'll look at in a few moments. As I mentioned, we can also set up a customer portal. That portal can be branded, it can be customized, and our end users can use that portal to log in, to submit tickets, to look at tickets that they've already created, and to see the replies from the technicians. As regards SLA management, we can create one SLA or 100 SLAs. It's completely up to yourself. How the SLA management works is that firstly we'll set some default settings, and these default settings are designed really to deal with run-of-the-mill type issues, people that can't print, people that can't access the internet, that kind of thing. So as regards those SLAs, we're pretty loose. Tickets must be assigned within 4 hours, they must be marked in progress within 4 hours, and they must be marked as complete within 8 hours. Since this particular SLA is designed for kind of run-of-the-mill type scenarios, we're going to include those core business hours. Why this is important is basically, if a ticket comes in at 1 minute past 6 on a Friday afternoon, there's very little point in starting that timer, as obviously the SLA will breach by Monday morning when our technicians return to the office. So what this will do is basically stop that timer until first thing on Monday morning. That will ensure that the SLA notifications that we get are real notifications. As regards those notifications, we're going to set these up to tie in with these SLAs down here. So for example, at alert level 1, 50% of our SLA. So in this case, after 2 hours, our ticket color changes to green, and we can notify a specific technician. At alert level 2, so 75%, that's roughly 3 hours, our ticket will change color to orange, and then we're going to notify another technician. And at alert level 3, 95%, the ticket is about to breach that SLA, it's about to go beyond that 4-hour limit. We're going to change the ticket color to red, and we're going to notify all of our technicians. And at that point, one of our technicians needs to take ownership. They need to step up and assign that ticket out, either to themselves or to one of their colleagues. At that point, the traffic light system starts all over again, and that technician has another 4 hours to mark that ticket within progress, and a further 8 hours to mark it as complete. So as I mentioned, this SLA is a very high-level SLA. But what happens if you have an urgent or a critical scenario? A server goes down, for example. Within this one SLA, we can have nested priorities. So again, a server going down or a firewall going down is a critical priority. So we can override those default settings, and we can have much more stringent timelines associated with them. So now a ticket must be assigned within 30 minutes, marked in progress within 30 minutes, and completed within 2 hours. Obviously, since this is an urgent issue, we're going to disregard those core business hours and we're going to get to work on this issue as soon as it comes across our desk. To give access to our technicians, from the Users and Permissions tab, we simply add our user using their email address. We can also limit what they can see and what they can do. Using access groups, you can slice and dice your customers, creating a gold, silver, and a bronze type scenario. You can create roles, add or remove certain privileges from certain technicians based on their skill level. So for example, your standard technician probably doesn't need any visibility on the billing and finance piece. We can remove that functionality from his role and give him all of the functionality he needs on a help desk perspective to do his job. We can also create teams, groups of technicians, level 1, level 2, level 3, the patch team, the backup team, etc., and assign technicians to those particular groups. We also have the idea of user skills. In a few moments, we'll look at issue types which you can configure. And these issue types are basically the problems that you see coming across your help desk on a daily basis. You can then rate your technician's skill level and route the ticket to the most appropriate person. So for example, we support multiple backup vendors. Bob is more proficient with backup solution number 1 than Chris. So let's give Bob a rating of 5 out of 5 for backup solution 1 and Chris a rating of 1 out of 5. So when backup issues come across our desk for backup solution 1, they automatically go to Bob. If we're deluged with those tickets, we can start spreading them out across the team as well at a certain point. From a billing and financial perspective, the key piece of MSP Manager is the idea of service plans or service items. And these service plans equate to the products that you sell to your customers. For example, 30 hours support per month, a flat fee for backup, a flat fee for patch management. You can configure as many of these products as you need to, have an associated rate or multiple rates with those particular service plans. And as a ticket is created, you can automatically assign a default service plan to that ticket. Your technician records time next to that ticket. So when it comes to invoicing, billing and batching, MSP Manager will multiply the time by the rate to come up with the final invoice. To create a service plan, all we need to do is add service plan, choose the type, choose the billing date. Depending on the type of contract, you can choose when you want to bill, set a rate or multiple rates depending on the actual service plan itself, associate an SLA, and then you can save that and assign that out to your customers as they come on board. If you offer multiple products, you can group them together using program levels. And again, the idea of a gold, silver, and a bronze type scenario would be applicable here. So we can see this particular program is made up of different products. And as a ticket comes across our desk, we associate the appropriate service plan with that particular ticket. From a tickets and workflows perspective, we've got a huge amount of functionality built in here. Queues are the idea of different queues where you can assign tickets automatically or manually. Routing rules allow us to route tickets based on certain criteria. So if a ticket comes in via email, if it comes in via the customer portal, we can assign it to different technicians. We can assign it based on user skill, and to even out the amount of tickets that are being assigned, we can use the workload functionality, which evens out the number of tickets that are automatically being routed to particular technicians. We also have the idea of task templates, and task templates are ideal for those jobs that have multiple steps. Now, I have a very simple example in here of provisioning a new laptop. But you might have something more complex, like an Exchange migration, for example. A lot of different tasks, maybe not that easy to do. So what we can do is we can configure these task templates at the top level, and each one of these tasks can have a brief description, and if you wish, an estimated time entry associated with it as well. What this allows is for your junior technicians to take on more complex tasks. They don't have to be exactly sure of what they're doing because the description should help them out. This information is available inline in the tickets themselves. So the technician opens up the task template, adds that task into the ticket with the associated time entry, and then moves on to the next task in the list. As I mentioned before, we can also create ticket issue types, and these are completely configurable by you. And it's a way of grouping tickets. So again, to go back to my earlier example, we have the idea of backup as a ticket issue type, but we support multiple backup vendors. So below that top level, we can have multiple different options available. And as I said, you have complete control over this. We can also accept tickets via ticket mailbox, and you can integrate as many ticket mailboxes as you wish into MSP Manager, as long as they're IMAP enabled. How this works is that when somebody emails in a request for support, it doesn't automatically create a ticket. It puts that request for help into a holding pattern, and that allows you complete control over what is considered a ticket and what's just spam. You can go in and you can edit that queue to meet your own requirements. We can also create different ticket statuses. There are some created out of the box, as you would expect, new, assigned, in progress, etc. But you can create your own ticket statuses to meet your own requirements in here as well. We can create workflow access groups and different routing and workflow rules in here as well. From a notifications perspective, you can get notified under pretty much any scenario that you can consider in MSP Manager. So a ticket comes into that email inbox. What happens if nobody's looking at the inbox? Well, we can choose to email somebody that a ticket request has been received, and they can go in and then they'll never miss one of those emails. What happens if a technician closes a ticket? Well, I think it's good practice that once a ticket gets marked as complete, to notify the specific end user. And that will allow them to say yes or no, agree that that issue has been resolved, or if not, reply to that ticket, reopen it, and get the technician to continue working on the issue. What type of information is included in those notifications? Well, again, you have complete control over that we can come in, we can see we have various different language templates, and we can edit the content as well. So the standard notification is pretty generic, has high-level information, it's okay. However, we want to maybe include a logo, we want to change the coloring, we want to include additional information. We can hit the edit button, and this allows us to edit the HTML behind that notification, as well as add additional information into the body or the subject line of that particular email. If you're not comfortable with HTML, you can always preview your changes as you make them. So if you do make a mistake, you'll see it, or if you want to figure out where to put in a specific piece of information, you can test it out before you actually commit to those changes. As we'll see later on, we can store a huge amount of information in MSP Manager's knowledge base, and you have complete control as to what types of information and the layout of those types of information as well. So standard stuff might be contract information, internal documentation, manuals, new customer forms. You can simply create your own knowledge types in the format that you choose, and they will populate then into the front end. You can populate that information as you see fit. When it comes to allocating work, measuring performance and managing resources, real-time visibility into your workflow is key. Workspaces within MSP Manager allow for real-time ticket updates, configurable filters that can be saved, no more clicking and filtering. You can create a workspace for every persona in your business. See how many customer responses you have in real time. Project graphs onto an overhead so everyone can track their efficiency. A what you see is what you get dashboard that can be tweaked to meet your very custom needs, running on a brand new real-time architecture. All of your business information always up to date. To help you get started, we've created some default workspaces to give you a few different views of your workflows. Need more? Want to change the existing dashboard? Simply come to the dashboard, remove the widget that you no longer want to see, and from the Add button, choose from one of the pre-configured filters to add the information that's of benefit or of interest to you. Once finished, click Finished Edit to get your bespoke dashboard. When a technician logs into MSP Manager, the My Dashboard screen will give them an overview of tickets assigned to them. They can change the view from this week, this month, this year, or a custom time period, and this will show groups of tickets that have been assigned directly to them. Tickets can also be queried on the left-hand menu under the My Tickets tab, and this allows them to filter on tickets to find an exact ticket that they may be looking for. If you're logged in as the administrator, you also have access to the My Company dashboard. And this will give you high-level overviews of not only your customers, but also your technicians. So you can see at a glance which technicians are doing the most work and which maybe aren't. As regards your customers, we also have the Service Utilization tab. And this allows us visibility on how many tickets our customers are creating over a specific period of time, and also how many hours our technicians are working. So for example, if you sell your customer a block of hours, it would be very handy to be able to see how many hours they have consumed over a particular time period. If they have exceeded that number of hours, we'll have visibility on that, and then we can scroll back over the previous billing periods to see if this is a recurring issue and we need to sell them additional hours, or is this an aberration where they've never exceeded their limit in the past, and as a gesture of good faith, we won't charge them anything additional this month. The Help Desk tab allows us to see all of our tickets from an organizational level. If you wish to slice and dice the views, you can leverage filters, which allow you to filter by customer, by technician, by status, etc. Or you can use one of the predefined templates at the top of the screen. To create a ticket, we simply click the Add Ticket button, and from here we put in ticket-specific information, including the customer, the service item, the location, the contact name of the end user, if one has been predefined. Alternatively, we can add that on the fly. We can also choose to associate an asset with the ticket if appropriate. We can assign the ticket to a technician. We can set a due date, a status, assign it to a queue. We can also enter ticket details on the right-hand side of the screen, including name, a brief description, and a ticket issue type. At this stage, we can save our ticket, and the ticket will be assigned to the technician listed on the left-hand side of the screen. Alternatively, if we want to save the ticket and start work on it immediately, we can click the Save and Start Timer option, and this will immediately save our ticket, but also start recording every single second that we're working on this particular issue. If we need to pause the timer, we can do so. And as you can see, the ticket color changes from green to orange to indicate that the timer has been paused. You can have multiple timers running at the same time and multiple timers paused at the same time also. Once you've completed work on a ticket, you simply click the Stop button, and this will add that time entry to this ticket. If you forget to click the Play Timer button, we can manually add time entry after the fact as well. So for example, if you were on site with a customer yesterday and you're only creating the ticket today, we can simply come in and add that time entry to the ticket with a brief description. If you incur an expense while resolving an issue, for example, you swap out a printer cable or you provision a laptop, for example, you can include that information in the ticket details as well. And what that means is when it comes to generating invoices for your customers, it takes account not only of the time entry, but also the expense. If you want to schedule an appointment with a customer, you can schedule that from within the ticket itself. You choose your technician, the time, the date, and this will generate an iCal format invitation to that particular technician. We can also respond to our end users from within the ticket itself, and any responses will go directly to the end user that generated the ticket, and as long as they reply to that email, all responses will be in line in the ticket itself. We can also add notes to a ticket, which can be private or they can be customer facing. And we can upload attachments into our tickets as well. So for example, if you wanted to take a picture of a server rack and include that into the ticket, you can simply add that in here also. Now, a really cool feature of MSP Manager is the knowledge functionality. And on the right-hand side of the screen, we see the ability to access device information, password information, procedures, contact information for end users, ticket tasks, and knowledge list all in line within the ticket. So as a technician, if you're resolving an issue, you don't need to close out of the ticket to access a knowledge article. You can get all of that information in line in the ticket itself. Once the ticket has been resolved, simply come in and mark it as complete. The Assets tab allows you to see asset information you have manually created or imported directly from Incentral or SolarWinds RMM. You can search for a device based on customer name, based on device class, or based on asset status. You can also manually edit a device, and you can see any associated tickets, and this allows you to build a strong business case in the event the device needs to be replaced. Customers can be added manually or en masse. To add a customer manually, choose the Add Customer wizard. From here, you will be taken through a 5-screen process that allows you to add as much or as little information about your customers as you see fit. The only required information is the customer's name. We can also add our service items from here, which represents the contracts that you have sold to your customers. If the customer has multiple offices, we can store that information under Locations, and we can also store contact information. And contacts in this context represent the end users which will be submitting tickets to the help desk. You can also give access to the portal to these end users, and they can be set up as a normal portal user or a portal admin. If you wish to import customers en masse, we provide you with a handy little CSV file which you can complete and submit as part of a support ticket, and our support guys will upload this information directly into your instance of MSP Manager. To view specific customer information, we can use the search and filter functionality to drill down on a specific customer. On the customer dashboard, we get a high-level overview of that customer, including how long they've been a customer, on average how busy they make us, and on the right-hand side of the screen, we see their location and contact information. This information can be edited at any time. We can see specific end-user contact information, and if we've imported or added any passwords for our customers, we can see them here in the right-hand side of the screen. We can also see any asset information that we've imported or added for this customer. We can also expand the drop-down next to this customer on the left-hand side and see specific information like tickets, service items, and knowledge-based articles for this specific customer. If we want to see knowledge-based articles at the organizational level, we can see them at that level also. The Knowledge tab allows you to store a huge amount of information about your customers in one single location. Knowledge can be customer specific if viewed at the customer level, or it can be generic knowledge items that can be seen from the very top level. You can store contract information about your customers, internal how-to documents, manuals, or new customer forms, which would allow you to store contact information, etc. on your customers. We also have the ability to store passwords in MSP Manager. These passwords can be fully redacted and require a password in order to view these passwords, or alternatively can be stored in free text depending on the security requirements around that particular credential. We can also store expiry dates in MSP Manager. So for example, an AV license or an SSL cert with a specific termination date can be stored within MSP Manager, and we can receive a notification in advance of that expiry date so we never miss a renewal date going forward. The Scheduling tab allows you visibility into your technician's MSP Manager calendar. If you wish to schedule out an on-site, you wish to see which of your technicians is available, simply choose from your technicians list and you will see any appointments that they have in their calendar. To add an appointment, simply click the Add Appointment button, or alternatively, click at the appropriate location in the calendar, choose your technician from the drop-down, choose the customer, and populate as much or as little information as you see fit. Obviously, the time and date of that particular appointment are quite important. We can also associate this particular appointment with one of our tickets. Once we click the Add Appointment button, an iCal format invitation will be sent to this technician, which he can accept in his Outlook or his Gmail calendar and never have an excuse for missing that on site ever again. We can also schedule recurring appointments or indeed recurring tickets. If we click on the Add Schedule button, we can populate again as much or as little information about our schedule as we see fit. So for example, if you sell your customer a fixed hour contract, you wish to bill that customer regardless of whether they create a ticket or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a schedule that will create a ticket for that customer at the start of each month. To start, we create our schedule, we give it a title, we choose our customer, we set the frequency, in this case on a monthly basis on the first of the month, we choose a start date, let's just say today, and then we choose some point in the future that this schedule will run to. We can now save our schedule and choose to set up a recurring ticket or a recurring appointment. Again, we give our ticket title as much or as little information as we see fit. Once you click on Save, we've now created a recurring ticket that will be created at the first of each month, and we can use that ticket to generate an invoice for our customer. If you save the schedule and you wish to edit it at a later stage, you can come back into your scheduling tab and click on the edit button. If you wish to delete the schedule completely, you can do that very easily also. We can bill and batch our customers at any point throughout the month. We can generate invoices and export those invoices directly into either Xero or QuickBooks, the two accounting packages that MSP Manager directly integrates with, or alternatively we can export those invoices into CSV format and upload into your accounting package of choice. To create a billing batch, we go to Billing, click on Add Billing Batch. We give the batch a name. We choose the tickets that we want to include in the particular billing batch, and MSP Manager will automatically calculate the number of hours worked, the amount due, plus tax. We can then run our billing batch where it does a sanity check to allow us again to include or exclude those tickets in a particular invoice. We can generate our invoices, and as mentioned, we can choose the export format, be it QuickBooks, Xero, or into a normal CSV file to be uploaded into your own accounts package. You can generate very detailed reports for your customers from MSP Manager also. You can generate reports on tickets, customers, billing, or SLA reports to track every aspect of your business. For example, you may want to generate a report for your customers showing all tickets completed in a particular period of time and include this with your invoice. Simply choose your customer, the status of the ticket, and include as much or as little information as you see fit. Once the report generates, we can then export the report into PDF or CSV format to share with your customer.